Welcome to episode 228 of the Emergent Gamer Podcast. I'm Felix Hergood.
I'm Trip Zero.
I'm Neo Yoshi.
Hey, we're back.
That was smooth without even looking at each other, dude.
It's been like a couple of weeks.
It's been 2.
2 weeks.
We took a week off.
Yeah.
Are we 228, really?
I was super.
Sheesh, dude.
Trip, I want to thank you because I was super
You're
impressed
welcome.
about the time we were able to put in for 227 to make it look, not look, but sound good.
Yeah, to really, really trick him, dude.
Yeah, because we were able to like figure out some things about how to use OBS Studio.
Yeah.
Streamlabs OBS. We were figuring out, and that was great.
It was?
And then the audio quality was the first time we did a Discord show with like super balanced audio, and it was fucking dope. Because man, I was worried there for a while.
Ended up being really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good, really nice.
Yeah, we turned it around, so I was happy about that.
Nice.
But yeah, how you guys been? You been good?
Been good, man. Been chilling. Been doing a lot of Destiny.
Well, I heard you guys did
Destiny.
something this week.
Yeah.
Something important. Was it last week or this week?
So it's been nonstop.
I missed you.
For Trip especially.
But
Yeah,
the raid came out last week, though.
The whole Shadowkeep expansion, new Destiny expansion, brand new content, and an entire rebuilding of the armor system in addition to the new content, and seasonal passes and updates and battle pass, free to play, all this shit, dude, hit on October 1st. Switch from Blizzard to Steam.
Yeah, that was when Shadowkeep launched. It had massive issues with people getting on.
A couple hours after launch, yeah, everyone was getting anteater errors, which is essentially they can't connect to the server.
And
error.
honestly, out of all game launches, I understood this because as an independent studio now, Bungie had to juggle a lot of balls in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially.
100%.
They were moving save files. They were adding cross-save. They were relaunching a DLC expansion that was fundamentally changing the game, and they moved platforms.
And they introduced an entire
huge.
new pathway for players to play the game for free.
Yeah, they essentially rebuilt the game from the ground up for new people.
It's really good.
And it's fantastic because now on people on our Discord, people who've never played Destiny before are jumping into the first time because it's accessible to them.
Discord is exploding, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
If you guys have not, join the Emergent Gamer Discord.
Yes, sir. It is growing Destiny people by the day.
Yeah.
By the minute.
That's great.
It's true.
Because people are watching you attempt world's first.
Well, I'm sure that's part of it, but it's not any one thing. There's so many things happening.
People want people to play with.
At the end of the
They
day,
want
yeah,
community.
it's support and it's community, and we also are a community that does things that the average community maybe necessarily doesn't. Like we have experience and run day ones with all the raids. We do really challenging content. We do challenges. We do low man challenges. We do just flawlesses. It just people don't have that reach normally, and they're looking for somewhere to play and somewhere to game and people to meet. It's becoming a place to do that, which is sick.
I would say we're pretty damn welcoming.
We're pretty good, dude.
Yeah. Do we just want to jump right in and talk about the experience of that?
We definitely could.
I'm not going to stop you guys from talking about that.
Yeah.
You want to.
Let's do it.
It feels like the right moment right now.
I'll talk about my horse shit later.
Cool.
Horseshit.
It really is not as interesting as what you guys are going to talk about.
Well, Trip, then why don't you start by talking about your day one experience, not playing Shadowkeep, but getting in the raid? Do you want to talk about the raid?
Sure, we can definitely
Because
talk
that
about
was
the
kind
raid,
of a huge deal because everyone was racing to get the world first.
Yeah. It's pretty standard for a Destiny day one raid experience, right? Like it's everyone prepares for whatever amount of time you have during the week or the day before that raid launches. Then the raid drops, everyone hops in and tries to be the first one to beat it. Tries to figure out the mechanics blind, try to
And you were in those
run.
trenches, man.
The whole entire Emergent Gamer squad was in there, dude. It was sick.
So proud of you guys. I was watching.
Yeah, we didn't clear.
I saw you were playing with Jeezum.
A different run of the new raid.
Oh, okay.
Who was your A team?
The day one team was myself, Diamond Jeb, Andy, SR2, Abrupt, Night Brezzy, and Squeegee from the Ball Boys. We actually had a Ball Boys substitute in
Not
there
Vizzy
last
this
second.
time.
Not Vizzy. No.
Usually it's Vizzy.
Vizzy, I think, was running with the Ball Boys primary squad, so
Right.
they were going. We had the lineup conversation was interesting the days leading up to it because certain people from the last experience didn't necessarily want to commit to
That was me.
running all day.
Yeah. Well, I just couldn't.
Sure. It wasn't just you, though. It was a lot of people that they were like, you know what, this is not the experience that I want out of the game, which is totally fine, understandable. It's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of work, a lot of preparation, essentially, going up to it.
I would not have been able to handle that pressure. Just so you know.
I believe you.
You agree.
Yeah. It's a lot, dude.
You literally have to be super patient and be ready to be in there for 8+ hours.
Hey, I'm not.
We played for, I think, 13 before we were like...
You will fail countless amount of times.
Yeah.
And it is very much like you're
That's why when you talk about going through some of these loops of your challenges in the game, I'm like, well, you've only been at that for like an hour or two, dude. Like, just you're still learning it. You're learning all the ins and outs.
Oh yeah, I get super frustrated really fast.
Yeah, you can't literally can't live that way.
And it's not good for playing with other people. That's why I primarily do not gravitate towards multiplayer games.
Sure,
especially when there's stakes.
Yeah. Yep.
No way.
So what was different and interesting this time for this raid race is it's the second time that they've used their contest modifier, which is Destiny capping your power at specific levels for the entire raid encounter. Mm-hmm. For whatever amount of encounters there are, you, no matter how high and how powerful your character actually is, you'll be capped at the same power as everyone else participating in that raid. It keeps it, I think you're about 20 levels under whatever specific encounter level. Because in a raid, the challenge goes up as you progress through the raid. Mm-hmm. So about every encounter goes up about 5 or 10 levels, power levels for your character. So I think they kept players about 20 under progressively throughout that entire raid.
And this was only for the first weekend?
For the first 24 hours. Contest exists, okay. Yeah. After that, everything is back to normal. Totally fine. You can get your clears.
So I experienced a very different raid than the day one raid.
You did.
Okay.
Overall. I think you were actually on contest power. Like for the final boss, you were what, 918, 919?
I was 920. Which was before that delta, because I couldn't push myself.
So for the final boss, you were playing at contest power. So that's what it would have felt like day one. Mm. You were overleveled for the rest of it.
Yeah, okay.
We would have effectively have been 890 for the first encounter on Saturday, on day one. The game would have recognized us as 890, even if we were all 920 or plus.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's how they do that, to keep everyone checked power-wise.
Okay.
So at that point, it just becomes about who can solve the puzzles, who can figure out the mechanics, who can execute as a team and get past and get through to the next encounter. It puts the focus on solving and teamwork over, I'm a streamer and I had 30 hours to prepare. That's why I'm more powerful. That's why I can beat this. So I think it's a really positive change and a great way to implement a race.
Cool. It puts everyone on the same playing field almost.
They did this for the first time in June for Crown of Sorrow, for the last expansion before this one.
I don't think I played that one. I think I was out of the game.
I think you were. Yeah, you haven't come back for that for sure. That was the first time they introduced contest modifier, but that released the same day the expansion dropped. So everyone was rushing to prep 6 hours before the raid to get as powerful as possible.
Sounds awful.
For the raid. So what they did this time is dropped on a Tuesday, and they played the raid on a Saturday. In the past, the raids have been on a Friday, maybe, like some other weekday, like a Friday or a Thursday, something like that. So every year something different, and this is the first time it's been a Saturday raid with contest modifier with plenty of days to prep for it. So it felt really good, really healthy from a player perspective, if that makes sense.
Very cool.
Just
Very cool.
a good environment to be in, because there were players that were leveling up like crazy for Shadowkeep, because there's a lot of new methods and new ways to grow your character.
There's as a new person returning to the game, there's literally any activity you can possibly think of to do that you could do, you get benefit from.
Yep.
And it's kind of crazy how I can just pick whatever activity I want and get whatever I want out of it.
There's
that seems like how they want to.
There's the armor system
out of the game.
now. You can literally customize your armor with specific perks, whatever you want to be on your armor. You can run those armor sets and those armor pieces.
Yeah, very
it's
cool.
It's endless customization for what you need for your encounters.
Running the raid with you guys was the first night I actually played with it because I didn't want to mess with my armor until I was going into the raid.
Right.
So that night, that's my prepping was.
I remember you were asking, what should I put on my pieces? Yeah,
exactly. So I was spending all my currencies.
What's nice is you don't actually lose any of that stuff. Like, you can apply those mods you have to any armor pieces endlessly and replace them endlessly.
Yeah, it costs Glimmer.
It costs Glimmer, but you get Glimmer for doing anything. Glimmer's like the money, like the dollars in Destiny World.
Yeah.
It's endless customization. You don't get penalized for trying things out because you can just replace
Leveling up a piece of gear, though, to fit more mods on, which isn't part of the Armor 2.0 system.
Everything's going to have a cost, of course.
That's going to cost legendary shards, which you get from dismantling purples and higher.
The more you increase that piece, the more currencies it'll take. It won't just be legendary shards. It'll eventually be enhancement cores, then enhancement prisms, and then they brought back Ascendant shards,
which I saw
from Destiny 1. Yeah.
So you get those because then those are another thing you have to like collect and get. So those enhancement cores now are still gained by. Oh God,
they used to be very, very, very sparse getting enhancement cores, but now there's a really good economy for it.
You also needed them to feed other guns into guns.
You needed them to masterwork your weapons and your armor pre-Shadowkeep, which you still kind of do at lower levels, but now it's much more of like a like almost its own currency versus like a rare resource you put into something specifically.
I'm really glad they made it easier to infuse my guns, because now I can run the gunsmith dude has bounties now.
He does, yeah.
Which will give you these upgrade cores.
Yep.
And those will let me, and it's a lot easier for me to keep my favorite guns and bring them into
my it's definitely not as punishing. I mean, I
really appreciate that because the enhancement cores were kind of a bitch before.
They were
the last year to
they were hard to get to.
And like I had to like go bye my favorite guns. I have to use these other guns. You know, like that made me really sad. But now I'm not sad anymore.
I'm glad, dude. I'm glad you're having a great time.
It's pretty fun.
I was sad, but now I'm not.
But do you have more you want to talk about with your day one experience?
Yeah. I mean, I think we like I said, we played for about roughly 13 or so hours.
Wow.
In there, and then eventually, Andy had to call it quits because him being a UK player, he is definitely at a time disadvantage, and it was very, very, very early for him in the morning.
How late was it for him?
Did he just log off and go to work?
I think he might have gotten a little bit of sleep, but do I have a London time? So right now it's 12:30 in London. That's 5 hours ahead. So
no, I knew how many hours, but
I didn't. I had to double check.
I was just wondering when you guys were wrapping up.
It was either 6 or 7 in the morning for him.
Yeah.
When
that's crazy.
When he had to be like, I gotta go.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Which is very understandable, 100%.
So did you all call it quits there?
Yeah, we did. Sat around for a little bit. I kind of like reflected on the experience.
You got held up at the last encounter.
I went back in. We didn't make it to the last encounter ourselves. I went to I tried to go to sleep, and I couldn't go to sleep. And I was like,
You had too much adrenaline.
I was like
pumping through your veins.
I feel like I really want to get this 24-hour completion.
I bet you did. Yeah.
So hopped onto the there's an LFG Discord. Hopped into the Destiny's LFG Discord and played with a couple different groups, getting eventually all the way to the end and trying a couple rotations of that final boss.
How did those guys go for you?
We we didn't finish, but we got pretty close.
Nice.
This though is the moment that leads into a little bit of controversy that Bungie had about that day one race. As I was doing rotations, this was about maybe 11:30 or so, 11:30 of the day after of Sunday morning, right? So we're almost 24 hours awake at this point playing this shit. Playing the final encounter, the servers go down.
Oh no.
The entire game, servers are down. So we're like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, but Bungie, I think I remember this. Bungie came out and was like, look, we know this was a problem. We're going to extend this.
So here's what happened. If you complete it in 24 hours at Contest Power, you can wear an emblem. They create a special emblem for all these contests, and wearing the emblem in game would tell players, holy shit, this gamer beat this shit at Contest Power, at Check Power, within a day. That's nuts. Good for them. Because of the server problems, Bungie said, we've extended the contest, the ability to earn the emblem. We've extended it for 2 hours. So you had until 3 p.m. on Sunday to earn that emblem instead of 1 p.m. Problem is, there's 2 problems here. One, they didn't even tweet or communicate this until 4 p.m. Eastern that day, an hour after it would have been done. 2, they didn't extend the contest modifier. So the raid was immediately
more difficult.
Easy.
Easy.
Oh. Because everyone is being power checked, but everyone was far above the actual power level because of all the preparation, all the serious teams,
so
right?
Then what happened?
People were clearing it, and it was easy. and they got their finishes.
Didn't a console?
I'm sure there were console clears in there as well.
Like I think they got who got the world first.
World first was PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna shit on consoles too much, but there's no way a console will ever get
consoles. You might right, you guys
ever get a world's first. Honestly.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So people were getting these clears, and it's not just the fact that the power, your player power went back up unchecked. There were guns that are currently a little bit bugged and a little bit broken in the game that were disabled for the raid. So all those guns were now undisabled because contest was done. Mm-hmm. So players could have burned through this raid insanely fast, beaten bosses in ways that were not allowed during contest, and cleared it essentially with very little challenge.
Is that what I experienced? Just a nice, easy, breezy raid clear?
Essentially, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, dude.
Oh, that explains a lot.
That was very breezy. That was breezy as shit.
I do want to talk about that briefly, but go on.
So that's why people were upset. They were saying, now there's no integrity to this emblem, because I don't know if this is someone who beat it at hour 8 or if it's someone who beat it at hour 22 by, there's a cheese with one gun where you can, if you hurt yourself with the gun while you hurt the boss, depending on the amount of frames your computer has, it multiplies the damage.
Holy moly.
Can I ask a question?
You could do that, but no one will know if you're just wearing the emblem. So to end that whole story, Bungie then a couple hours later again said, we reassessed, we're not extending it. Like, we apologize that there were connection issues, but for the integrity of the contest, people who earned it after 1 p.m. will not be getting the emblem. And honestly, the vast majority of players, gamers, winning or not winning the emblem, were like, this is the right move.
I'd say so.
Okay.
There were streamers like King Gathalion and Progressive Romance. They refused to wear it because they earned it right after it, but they refused to wear the emblem if they were to get it.
The thing that I was thinking was that the other way they could have done it is they could have released an additional emblem that went to the people who got it in the
12-hour mark.
The short amount of time.
They could have, yeah. That's a lot of design work, though.
Right.
Demanding on your dev
Yeah,
team,
they would have had to do more work.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And the raid jacket, which is a reward for completing it in a certain time. What was the length of time required to earn that?
You actually still have the ability to earn that. You have until this reset. So this coming Tuesday,
everyone
the 15th.
Gets pretty much a full week in a couple days.
Yeah. This is the longest the jacket window has ever been. Usually it's the first reset after the raid.
And when do you need to order that jacket by?
You need to claim your code before reset this Tuesday, and then you have until the end of the month to order.
Did you already say what professional names were on the team that won?
I did not. The team that ran was a relatively unknown team of speedrunners. They're known in their circles, right? But they aren't Team Redeem. They aren't, Glad.
Yeah.
Professor Broman with my
dad.
Had
you heard of them?
Before this raid race, I had not heard of them. No.
Oh, okay.
But we can go and pull up the stats right here. The Crown of Sorrow raid race in June also had a team of speedrunners win. Some of those I had heard of. Yeah, the actual world first clearing team on Crown of this one, Garden of Salvation. X-Black, Antivist, Cyber, Pash, Narzul, and Monks. These are actually a team
never heard of any of them.
They're primarily European. I was watching some of their footage of them figuring out the final encounter.
Time was 6 hour, 14 minute.
Yep.
Wow, they beat the second place by 2 minutes.
This is one of the closest raid races that has ever happened.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then
I'm looking
this is an alt redeem team. Alt redeem team got 3. Everyone's favorite nuts gamers. Where were they? We're 12th.
Oh man,
Glad, Modern, Chevy, Swetsicle, all this stuff. I mean, this is still
pretty good.
Still nuts. But think about it. Look at this, dude. Clear 1 was 6 hours. Clear 12 was 11.5 hours.
Where was Gathalion and those guys?
They didn't clear day 1.
Oh, wow.
Shit is hard with the contest, dude. Shit is actually legitimately hard.
That's good.
Which is why there's value to the emblem, which is why there was controversy about them saying people can get it who were just in there 2 hours after and burning this boss with whatever method they had available to them.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That sucks.
They did the right thing, essentially.
Good.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing the raid this weekend. Mm-hmm. This is just briefly what I'm doing. And I watched the 24-hour of stream of you guys just playing the raid. Playing the raid.
Yeah, learning, rotating, just getting practices.
I had you on in the background, like
sure.
as I was doing other things. Like I peeked over, watching you guys sweat it out and in the trenches. And I played last night, and let me tell you, it was like it was like I had my joggers on, and I was just cruising through this raid.
Cruising through, man.
And I was expecting, honestly, to really like be challenged, but like, man, that was like granted, you gave me some real easy ass tasks to do in the raid, and like I wasn't trying to, because there were some people in the raid still trying to get their clears.
Yes.
They wanted the jacket, right? And
you guys did this together?
Yeah.
We did one. Yeah. I've ran this 4 times this week, getting people through that have finished it. So.
Trip's a mad G for doing this.
Sherpering everyone, dude.
And I was having fun with it. I love experiencing the raids. Those for me are like the top tier content of how they design their things. And they had a cool mechanic in there that was pretty much used the whole raid, which was the tether mechanic.
The tethering mechanic, yeah.
And we had some fun moments that night, just messing around with that thing.
That's fun, dude.
I liked it, and like I could tell there was a theme going on throughout the raid.
It's the most gorgeous raid they've ever done. The raid is in the Black Garden, Felix.
I love the Black
Remember
Garden.
the end of the mission of Destiny 1?
Fuck
This
yeah.
entire raid
that.
is in the Black Garden.
I love the Black
Would you love to see some pictures from it? I have some
sure.
in my
Show me some.
Felix,
Discord
I
right
cannot understate to you how gorgeous this game is on PC. It is stunningly breathtaking.
Yeah.
How it like looks, like walking through these environments like this. It's just so weird to me coming off of, like, let's say what we'll talk about in a bit, Borderlands 3. Like, man, this game still looks good even though it came out in 2016. Like, I'm so impressed how they here, Felix, he's showing you some
Here's some right
screenshots.
here.
Look at that.
We
Purdy.
We
There's,
cleared that thing, dude. We pretty much first tried every.
We first
boss.
tried every encounter except the very, very first encounter because we were learning the tether.
Yeah, we were just like.
Was that a shot of that final boss fight area?
No.
Do you ever go through that?
That is a skybox, but damn, it looks great.
Remember the Black Garden had like a maze
Yeah,
or something?
there was kind of a semi-maze.
You go through that maze?
There was a little.
This
there
was.
a
I
little
mean,
maze.
we're in these channels. Like these channels that you see. Like there are areas that are where you're in there essentially.
But throughout the whole raid, we pretty much one-shot every encounter except for the first one, which we were just getting our feet wet with the new team, with this team.
Yep.
And we even first shot the last boss. Kind of, because we jumped the gun with the encounter when we first arrived there, and you were explaining it as the encounter was happening.
That truly doesn't count because people were loading in, so we had to wipe to enable them to do like the ammo getting and the rally and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So that truly, no bullshit, truly wasn't
after
a real
you
attempt.
did the full explanation, and then we started the encounter. Boom, we just did it.
That final boss of this raid is one of the most engaged I've ever had to have been. Probably outside of Kingsfall with Oryx, all the things you have to do.
It's cool because every player has a specific job to do. Like everyone has things to do.
It is the weight of the entire team, whatever your job is doing.
Yeah, and you can't just float through
if someone fucks up, it's not a very carryable raid. Someone is not just chilling there, getting a completion. Like everyone has to put the work in and do the right things, or else it all falls apart.
You gave me an easy job, but still,
you had to not die.
You
had to not lose any of those motes. You had to deposit at the right time. You had to kill the people with shields. I don't think it was.
Oh yeah, you paired me up with our highest light level dude. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
It's all about the averages. The other people that I paired together were higher than you and lower than him. But if you average those numbers out, power wise, they're about the same.
Okay, cool.
I did a little bit of mental math here.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed my time in that.
I'm glad, dude. Yeah.
And I don't know how long I'll be back on the Destiny bandwagon because Death Stranding is coming out. I know I'm gonna be like, but for right now though, I'm enjoying all the new players coming in for free. You know, like the free players. I can play with, like Rowan's getting in there, and he's just doing the free.
You can definitely wreck shit in
mode.
Crucible, man. People are in there with no idea what to do. So if you want to just click some heads in competitive, that's really fun too.
And I've been enjoying myself doing competitive and stuff. Like I have guns I want to unlock and fuck around with.
Yep,
it's pretty great. So Destiny, man,
it's in a great place, and Shadowkeep has been amazing.
You're so happy.
He's
loving it, dude.
Cloud 9 right now.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you,
man.
You've come a long way with that.
It's great.
Game.
You should come back one day.
It won't
too.
happen.
Should I get this jacket? Trip?
I mean, I can't tell you how to spend your money. It's not cheap,
It's like
right?
$150, right?
But it is $150, yeah, not including shipping.
I mean, it's kind of cool.
It's an accomplishment.
It's pretty cool. I might do it.
I'll be getting mine for sure.
I know, of course you are.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I wouldn't even.
I gotta flex, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Gotta flex the EP.
You want to talk about some Felix stuff? We ready to move
I'll be
move
brief.
it in?
What have you been up to, dude?
I'll be brief. Well, it's been 2 weeks, so I had a lot
been.
going on. But I'm gonna focus in on just the highlights.
Cool.
Highlight it.
So we had a term when I was a kid called freaking out.
Okay.
In the context of video games.
I'm familiar with this term.
Have you heard this term? Was this a common term?
I don't know. Have you ever freaked out?
So I had a neighbor kid that lived near me. His name was Clint. And Clint
Barton.
That was not his last name.
Okay.
But Clint would say things like, "Oh, Felix, I can see you've been freaking out." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, "What are you referring to?" The first time he said this to me, I was like, "You look like you've been up all night playing a video game. Mm-hmm. You freaking out on that video game again?" And he said it as like a derogatory thing. You skin under my skin. But now I've embraced it like a fucking badge.
Okay.
I was freaking out. I was freaking out a lot.
How'd you freak out?
You've been freaking out a lot on Destiny. You get crazy with it.
So we're using this in a slightly different terminology here.
But this is a term that was used very commonly among the young people when I was growing up.
Okay.
Freaking out.
In the 1930s.
In the 1930s.
No, I'm kidding.
Anyway.
The hat looks like
I have a reason. I have a reason for saying this.
Yeah.
Because, like, you've been freaking out about Destiny. Mm-hmm. I've been freaking out about Marvel Ultimate
Well, hold on.
Alliance.
If you say freaking out about, that sounds like current usage. But if you're freaking out on something, that sounds like old usage.
Freaking out on something.
Freaking out on something.
I've been freaking out on Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
So how you been freaking out on that?
Well, the Curse of the Vampire DLC came out 2 weeks ago. Okay. Which released Blade and Punisher, my favorite character from Marvel history.
Punisher, yeah.
Morbius the Living Vampire is the focus of it. I was actually shocked to discover that it absolutely doesn't have any new story content.
It's just character deals.
They released a new game mode.
Did you want new story content?
It would have been nice,
Sure.
Instead, what they did was bump the level cap from 100 to 150, and they released a new game mode called Gauntlet. And what Gauntlet is there's a bunch of modifiers on multiple playthroughs, and you just keep playing endlessly to see how far you can get. And that's been tied to national statistics, international. Sure. You can compete with people around the world. I will never do that. I will never. Destiny's one thing, but I will never compete. I was saying this on my stream. I'll never compete on a world stage unless it's being monitored by the developers. Like, this is a game that's been put out into the world, and they, like, for instance,
I was about to ask you why.
Injustice fucking 2, Mortal Kombat have these, like, standings where you compete with other people, and there's literally always a cheater who's at the very top. Because the developers put it out, they release a standing thing, like a list of names, but then there's somebody who figures out how to game it because they're not paying attention. Developers are not paying attention. So I'll never do that. So I don't care about the world standing feature. It also doesn't give me anything to be first in the world at any of these gauntlets.
Sure.
So it really doesn't fucking matter.
No, I mean, you could get the clout, dude. Be in those circles for those games.
I could get the clout if I was a cheater, so I can compete with the cheaters. There's somebody came in my stream. They were like, "There's already somebody that's been cheating with this, and they're number one."
You could be the number one not cheater.
But there's no way to clarify. I'll just look like number 3 or look like number 2.
Well, yeah, but that's what you then take that and you own it and you go, I'm number 3, but actually number 1 non-cheater.
Well, here's the other thing, though. How can I prove that guy did? I can prove it because I know that it's like impossible to do as a human being. But like, I can't prove it.
But also, you're broadcasting, right?
Right.
Is the cheat not? I'm sure it's visible somehow, right? While the person is playing the game.
No, it's not somebody I was playing against. It's just a standing you look at, and you see this guy's scores way up here, and you're like,
what I'm saying is,
no
if
human
someone
being
were
could
to
have gotten that score.
If someone were to be streaming while doing this cheat, you'd be able to see them.
Oh,
doing
people
this
would
cheat.
see that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a streamer that got that top score.
Yeah, and it's probably not.
Could have been a guy who just connected it to some fucking computer that ran the whole thing for
My
him.
whole point is that you were streaming, so people would have seen that you weren't cheating.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's the point I'm trying to make you.
Anyway, point is I've been freaking out on this game. And I've now figured it out. Like today, just factually, I leveled Scarlet Witch from level 9 to level 140 in less than 2 hours.
That is a pretty hard thing to do.
It's a really hard thing to do. Anyone who's played the game will know that going from level 9 to level 140 in less than 2 hours, it was about an hour and 35 minutes. No, I know how to use the crystals, and I know how to like make the game work. So it's great. I have probably 150. I now have probably about half the roster. That's awesome. Made it to 150.
Nice, dude.
And I've completed almost all the rifts, so I'm almost done. At that point, I'm going to put the game down and not freak out on it anymore. I'll be good.
Good plan.
Very cool.
So 2 other things that I played. I played Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which
I'm very curious
we
about.
talk about. And I also played BL3 doing couch co-op streams.
Now, you wrote down something very specific.
Oh, before I get into that, I just discovered today that Outer Worlds is going to be released on Game Pass day 1. So
Yeah,
I canceled my pre-order,
Fuck yeah.
and now I'm going to get it for free on my Game Pass. So that's fucking dope.
Yeah, that's
I wish I had time for things like Outer Worlds.
You're not going to have time for Outer Worlds. I want you to watch my stream.
Destiny's too real
Yeah.
right now.
It's space, Fallout in space.
Yeah.
So we're going to have fun.
I
with
mean,
that.
it looks incredible.
Good news about that as well, Felix, is Game Pass version of it also on PC.
Oh, that's
So
great.
I could also jump in day 1.
But it's not going to be cross-play or anything.
It's a single-player game.
Oh,
But,
yeah,
but there is a PC version of Game Pass
That's great.
that I
dude.
can just jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
one of those
so-
games that was snatched up by Epic, by the way. So
Yeah.
But that's why it was such a big deal that it's also on Game Pass, day and date. Go ahead.
So
Felix.
BL3, amazing game. I'm not going to play it yet because I still want to go through them chronologically, and I'm still only on pre-sequel.
Yeah.
But I do couch co-ops with it, so I'll play with people. I had people over to do. I've played online while at the same time playing with someone sitting next to me. So I've done us next to each other with Kyle over in Northern Ireland.
How's that experience? Pretty cool.
The only problem is local co-op is absolute laggy shit when you're in menus. So you get
The menus.
you get somewhere and you're trying to open a chest, and all of a sudden you're slow, and you realize that your buddy Dabi Tafu, who's sitting right next to me, is motherfucking in his menu, or vice versa. He was like, dude, I'm trying to my game is slowed down. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm in my menu trying to just trade weapons.
Funny you should say that, Felix. This is one of the issues that I have on the PC version.
It's a piece of shit, man.
On a beefier PC with, it's single
It's
player.
clearly server lag. It's clearly a server. It's not.
Is it?
It's got to be their
Because
servers.
playing by myself, also I experience massive amounts of slowdown at
When you open a menu,
when I open a menu,
Oh,
and when
fuck.
I'm loading guns and I'm trying to see what guns I want. Not
That's
only
bad.
that, Felix, it gets worse the longer my play session is. So I have more of my feeling of what the problem is it's a memory issue.
Okay.
It's a RAM issue of how the game's storing.
are they going
all
to
the
fix
things
it?
you're doing.
Have they acknowledged it publicly? Is Randy Pitchford on this shit?
They're putting look. I'm on the Borderlands
God
subreddit
damn.
as I do, Felix. As you know, I like to keep my ear to the ground with all these games. I'm still on that Anthem subreddit. That's how much I like to keep my ear to things. Just gonna pick topics, for the podcast. That's what
Is
I do.
Randy Pitchford on this, dude?
Felix, they're putting out hot fixes.
I know he's making money off of it. But
God. They're putting out hot fixes, Felix, right? But so far, the fixes have been balancing with all the characters. It has been fixing, certain gun perks, certain things that happen to things.
I guess that's important.
It is, just to maintain the integrity of how their game is supposed to play. But honestly, this is the biggest issue, because if the game isn't enjoyable to play when you want to look
Right.
at the guns that are a main focus of the game, it becomes a huge issue to enjoy the game.
You know what I've learned from service games?
What
Your
have you
favorite
learned
thing
from
in the
service
world?
games?
Destiny's a service game.
Yeah.
You love it.
Yeah.
And I've learned from Fallout 76, also a service game, the same lesson. If it's a service game, the fuckers are going to stay around and fix the goddamn shit. And they're going to do it on a regular basis. This is why I have no complaints about Fallout 76, like everyone else.
Right.
This is why you are absolutely not complaining about Destiny at this point. There was a time when you loved it, but you were like, what the fuck? Why is Bungie doing it this way?
Yeah.
But they fixed it because it's a fucking service game. Problem with BL3 and the fucking Ghost Recon Breakpoint game is they're not service games, and they're not going to come back and fix the bullshit that they fucked up from the beginning.
Well, I kind of disagree. They are pretty much edging on being service games, especially Breakpoint.
I hope so.
Especially Breakpoint, because this is what I want to talk about with Breakpoint as well, because of the way Breakpoint is modeled and how they have
Yeah,
they have a huge focus on they have a social hub.
They do.
The main area of your base is a
Which
social
people
hub.
complain about, and I don't complain about that at all.
Because when you add a social hub like that, it's it's almost implied
It's
like
distracting.
Well, no, not just that. It's
Well,
almost
that was
implied that it
what's
is-
his name's complaint? British guy who rants and whines all the time.
Oh, Jim Sterling.
Yeah, Jim Sterling was upset. He's like, here's the
he
social
also
hub.
like him and Skill Up and
Skill Up didn't like it either.
he doesn't like it either for various reasons, which I wanted to ask you about. But it came down to mostly a social hub usually means that it implies that the look of your character is important because other people are going to be interacting with your character in some form. So that also kind of hoists up the online store that is now, involved in the game. And these are all different components that Breakpoint has seemed to. I know we're transitioning here, but Breakpoint has.
We can transition to Breakpoint.
Breakpoint has.
I haven't played
add,
enough BL3 to like even
really talk about it. I know,
about it.
and it's worth talking about the issues that Borderlands 3 has because overall it's a really good game, but it does suffer from a lot of these back end issues that needs to be fixed to make it a more enjoyable experience for sure. But with Breakpoint, it seemingly combined a whole bunch of elements of the Ubi formula. Right, you got your division
The
side.
time savers showed up.
The time savers, right?
They're there.
Your almost division-like loot system that they've added, right?
I told you it's putting on some division makeup so it can
Absolutely
fuck the division players.
So it can fuck, dude.
so it can fuck the division players.
And not only that, on top of that, it is meant to be a single-player game because they removed the AI component of your teammates. They said they're going to add them later, by the way, in patch. I just want to point that out.
Well, no, and they still have they still have the ability to do the sync shot. I only cared about the AI
but you do
players.
You do it with a drone now.
Yeah, and I liked it.
But they're also disposable.
I saw that. You get a craft.
you lose them?
You get a craft.
You lose them. So now
Sometimes you get them back. I got them
you
back
get 'em
one time. I did it one time, and I got all 4 of them back.
For sure.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really conflicting elements of Breakpoint as all these elements that we just mentioned pretty much make it a service game, right?
Right. Yeah. But
you can play it single player, but the game's always online. If the servers go down,
I mean, that's
will
kind of a service game, dude.
it will kick you off.
dude,
Doesn't need to be multiplayer.
listen to me. Today, I was
listening.
in a fucking firefight,
Go ahead.
getting ready to die. I'm playing on normal.
Sure.
If I was playing on some fucking hard,
Yeah.
I would have lost my motherfucking shit, dude.
You?
Yeah, I was not playing it. I was playing
Never.
it. Listen to me, Ghost Recon development team.
Please
I
don't
was,
do that.
I was on.
They're not listening. Don't worry.
They're not listening. But I was fucking on normal, right? In the middle of a firefight, I tried to bring out a rocket launcher. It locked my menu or locked my controls, and I literally couldn't pull a gun out
Please
to defend myself.
$2 to use a rocket launcher. Dude, I'm just kidding.
I tried to pull out the alt weapon, the rocket launcher, the grenade, the whatever. You flip it or whatever. You hit a button and it fucking does it. And then it locks up my ability to pull out any gun. And I literally couldn't pull a gun out. Dude, I was losing my shit on stream. I had to run away from 2 giant robo-tank things that were trying to kill me. And I was just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this is piece of shit. This is not good for a game that's now out.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's fine if there's like microtransactions that I can ignore or what. Like, people are mostly concerned with that. They're upset about this. Like, I think the game plays without me, just like with Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah.
There's a shit ton of time savers there, but I can ignore them. I still
think
earn
my
fine.
inherent issue with time savers in general is to me telling me that, well, you don't need to play through our game to enjoy our game. We're just going to give you a
Right.
shortcut.
Yeah, it's a weird
to get to the end of the
kind
game.
of self-burn.
It is like a self-burn.
Well,
and it's weird.
nobody responded to this when I typed it in the Emergent Gamer Discord. Like, everyone's like ranting and raving about the game, and then I typed one thing. I said, are you upset with the people who pay for the skip the line pass at a theme park? Are you upset with that?
But
Are you upset with the fact that the theme park has that?
The line isn't the fun part. The fun part's the ride, right?
Yeah.
So the ride for a game like Breakpoint is the gameplay and improving your character as an RPG.
I would
it's trying to
actually
be.
agree with Neo.
That is,
yeah.
And then of course there's the end game, but that's a whole other thing. I don't even know what that even looks like in this game. But for example, Destiny or Borderlands. How would you feel if Borderlands was let's just get you to level 50 quicker, and you lose the experience of getting that new gun quicker.
Do I? Because I'm still going to play it.
Well, right.
Someone else might. I don't think they give a shit.
It's like you're bypassing
But we're not competing.
The
only thing I heard...
It's a theme park, right?
The Breakpoint.
Yeah.
The only thing I heard today that might be fucked up about this is the fact that I heard you can get cool guns with time savers.
Yeah.
And that you can then go into the Ghost War and fight people with them. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Because Ghost War is PvP.
So you literally can't do that unless...
I haven't investigated it.
Yeah.
But I heard that you could time save to earn materials, guns, whatever, and then go into the Ghost War and do PvP.
Then you are at a complete disadvantage to people who decided to pay for the line pass.
Yeah, like if I went into the PvP, but I don't know if that's true. That was unsubstantiated, mentioned by somebody in the stream.
Sure, we can always just pin that as a rumor.
And my response was, I'm not really going to play the Ghost War because I didn't play it in Ghost Recon Wildlands anyway.
Cool.
But I know there are people who are huge fans of the Ghost War aspect of the game.
Other issues I've heard about the game are server issues. I've heard AI is not great. AI is real bad.
Yeah, I've witnessed that.
And to me, that is...
And that's on all difficulties or just the normal difficulty?
I don't know. I'm never going to play this game.
I don't know if I'm ever going to play the harder difficulties because of how many bugs there are just by playing on normal.
And honestly, it's confusing for them to add a gear score system when the game isn't supposed to be about bullet sponginess like Division. It's not supposed to be like Destiny where you're putting your gear.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it does make it easier to decide on what I want to pick up and what I want to keep.
Sure, and now it adds another layer of customization to the game that honestly doesn't really seem.
The gear score thing I draw a parallel to what they're doing with item score in BL3.
Yeah, but like there's a direct correlation to you getting stronger in Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
But
it's better designed.
With Ghost Recon, though, those games were never about getting the better gun. It's getting the gun that can have the best velocity. Like you literally go, okay, I need the M4 because I need that mid-range gun, right? It's like Call of Duty, right? I need the submachine gun to staying close. I need the shotgun for this mission. I need the sniper rifle so I can do this.
It's because Borderlands 3 is a bullet sponge game.
Right.
You have to do more damage
The
output.
Ghost Recon games, they're not about that. They're about getting that one headshot, right?
I heard there's certain enemies that you can shoot their armor off and kind of like Division 2.
Division 2. Great. I'm so
my biggest criticism, or what I thought the biggest criticism of the game would be, is that the game is exactly like Ghost Recon Wildlands. They didn't change anything.
Not a damn thing.
Case in point, what I experienced today, the bullshit I hate about the helicopters. You get in, and there's 4 fucking seats, and you can only move between 2 of them on the side you got in. And that was the problem in Wildlands. And it's the same exact motherfucking problem in this game. Didn't change the code at all, did you? You fucks.
They probably didn't. It's probably just pretty much the same game with
it's
the new
the same
environment.
game with barely
tacked on systems,
Right.
I mean, I'm not a developer. I'm just being a fucking dick right now. But like, it's this kind of like lazy release of a game that really pisses me off.
It is lazy.
I'm just gonna lay it out there. This game pisses me off. Just it existing.
This sounds like this game exists and Neo's mad about it.
And because like make something that we want to play. And you know what makes it even worse for me? I'm just gonna freaking get out here right now. Metal Gear Solid 5 is the perfect Ghost Recon game.
Oh, is it?
It's perfect. Felix, you would love this game.
I'm going to play it.
You would love it.
I swear I'm going to play it.
And then I watched this trash get released, and I'm like, you are shitting on Metal Gear Solid 5.
Can I ask you a question, Neo?
Yeah,
Felix?
Yeah.
What is it about Ghost Recon that brings you back playing day after day? Are you hate playing this game? What?
Day after day. I've played it twice since I got it in advance.
Okay. Well,
and I only played it twice.
What about
the original,
whatever, Wildlands, whatever the fuck. Sorry.
Wildlands.
What about that one that it brought you back?
I like the loop. I like the collecting loop and finding stuff and
your enjoyment of Wildlands, which for all intents and purposes is a pretty solid game.
Yeah,
I would say. I can totally see why you would love Breakpoint. That doesn't surprise me at all.
You want that?
Love Breakpoint?
I'm sorry, you would get Breakpoint.
I got it.
The next question in my understanding line here is you want Breakpoint to get you like Wildlands did, but it's not.
Not yet.
Are you forced? Are you hate playing this game?
I have like 6 other games that I would prefer to play.
Let me love you.
Yeah. So why not play those?
I am playing those.
Okay.
I have been. I played.
I did a couch
co-op today with Artemis, which I had a lot of fun playing multiplayer with him in it. It was fun co-op. You know, like the same kind of shenanigans happen when you're doing it. Yeah, because like I said, it's the same game. You know.
Yeah. For sure.
So like I enjoy that, and it's great for the stream for us to have that dynamic and go back and forth. I also like the voice acting, but I wish the cutscenes didn't have like fragmentation in the goddamn eye of the character when it's talking. I'm like, that's a fucking distraction and a half.
It's almost
what is this? The Matrix?
It's
like,
almost, Felix, as if we're at the end of a console cycle.
And they were just like, let's shit one out. Let's
They
took a shit right over
We
there.
just need to get one game out before that cycle happens.
Wow. The console cycle.
Do me a favor. Can you take a shit right over in the corner? We're going to make that a game.
Felix isn't picking up what I'm putting down.
He's not.
What?
We're smoothly transitioning.
We're transitioning.
Oh, you want to talk about PS5?
Just-
Thanks.
Just like the console generation.
Shut the fuck up.
Often
Coming to an end.
smoothly translates between one into the next
Yes.
one.
But like this is definitely what the end of a cycle looks like.
I know.
Right? They're getting these last minute games out.
Except Final Fantasy 12 slapped for the end of PS2's console cycle. Man, that shit was gorgeous.
Oh yeah, that was at the end, wasn't
Yeah,
it? That's
it
why I
was.
didn't play it.
It was. She was.
Oh, that's why.
What about GTA 5? Not GTA Online.
God
That
of
was
War,
the end of
God
console.
of War
GTA
2.
5 destroyed my PS3, so it doesn't have the best marks in terms of like
God of War 2
impact at the
And
end
the
of the
online
console
was
cycle.
trash when it first came out.
God
on
of
the
War
PS3.
2 came out.
I literally was
after
cooking
the
my
PS3 launched,
board trying to reflow it and fix
weirdly
it.
enough. God of War 2 for the PS2.
Oh, okay.
That came out
Very interesting.
during the transition period of the PS3.
Oh, I bought a. We should talk about it a little bit with the PS5. Like I bought the PlayStation Now.
I thought you were about to say I pre-ordered it.
I did not for you.
No,
Speaking about the PS5, I pre-ordered it. Have you not heard about it?
Felix is right. He did buy PS Now to look at.
And when you and I were looking at it on stream,
We were talking about it on our show about how it's crazy that it's not up to the same standards of other streaming services.
And then
minute
literally
after that,
days
it's-
later.
Well, they figured it out.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Neo, what did we discover?
So I was on his stream watching him look through the menus.
I said to the stream, I was like, let's go through my PS Now and check it out.
Tons of games.
Tons of games.
First
yeah.
off,
like
tons of games,
Yeah.
and they
at
even
least
added the new
200 or
God of War.
300, right?
Yeah, but a problem is
For
that,
a streamer, just for a streamer, not for someone
Yeah,
who's a fan of games and doesn't stream.
Yeah, for sure. The problem is that it requires a good bandwidth to play It requires the appropriate bandwidth to enjoy.
Well, that's true, but what is the main problem? Why it's a problem for me?
You
as a
can't
streamer?
download the games to your console.
Dude, I'm not even kidding.
Or we haven't found a way.
2/3 of the fucking games I cannot download. They all say stream live. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, dude.
Makes
you
me
kidding
worry
me?
about Stadia, by the way.
I mean,
Makes
there's
you
a
worry
lot
about
of.
Stadia.
Why does that make you worry about Stadia specifically?
I don't think our network infrastructures are ready for a streaming only service.
I would agree with you.
Just saying, just in general,
Yeah.
And like maybe Google has some magic that we don't know about yet.
That's what they want you to believe. With
That is
them.
what they're doing.
But they're like, yeah, but it's our streaming service.
So it looks like PS2 games and some PS4 games are downloadable, and only around 300 can be downloaded.
The exclusive ones that end next year, that like
God of War.
God of War, the new God of War's on there.
Yeah.
Those all can be downloaded.
Okay.
Because they're big games. But there were some like
Is it-
weird omissions. Like the whole BioShock series is there.
Yeah.
And like including Infinite, and I can't download it to play it on my stream.
And so the problem you faced, Felix, is that
Well,
you can't stream them because
Well, I don't fully understand if it is a problem or not.
We
If
don't-
I go
oh, yeah.
live streaming one of these games
don't
while
know.
I'm
I don't know how to
streaming-
feel about this experience.
No,
in real life.
you guys know technology.
You're saying
better
like,
than me.
are you killing your internet in some way by streaming this game?
Yeah, if I stream and then live stream it out,
You shouldn't. You're only uploading.
right?
You know.
Yeah, technically it should be fine, but you were experiencing some other.
No, that was a
issues
different
day.
thing.
Yeah,
Don't worry about that.
so it's honestly hard to tell because you
It
were
was
cutting
not
out.
related to that. It's related to that computer problem.
Anyway, I don't know if
talked
it's
about.
gonna. It's not. It doesn't seem like it's as good as a service as Game Pass,
No way. I can download
Yeah.
every game on Game Pass.
which is a plus.
Yeah, from minute one. Yeah,
But is yet to be seen how cool.
but I
this
do
thing
like
is.
the exclusives that are in there. I mean, they have all their top PlayStation exclusives,
Which is-
except for Persona, of course. But
Sure. Yeah.
But they have The Last of Us.
first-party
They have-
game, so that's understandable.
Yeah, they have The Last of Us in there. They have all the Uncharted games are in there.
Nice.
If you never played those,
Horizon. Is Horizon there?
wow, I
Infinite
didn't
is
look for
probably
that. It might be. It probably is. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about the big news of the week. shall
Let's
we?
talk about it.
Which
Hit
is
it,
also
dude.
PlayStation related.
Yep.
Sony decided to drop an exclusive interview with Wired.com.
Wow.
And this is Sony being so weird, you guys. I just got to point this out because this is them controlling the message of their next console. Not only that, they're doing it before the holiday, which is when a lot of major sales happen for these companies. They're doing it. They did it the same day as a first-party release, Concrete Genie, which is kind of weird. They got in the way of their own marketing with this, because everyone, like, they could have been talking about this game, but instead they pointed the spotlights to the PS5 news. Now I'm going to list out some details, and I want to hear how you guys feel about what this console sounds like.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cool details. All right, so the official name will be the PlayStation 5. No surprise there at this point.
Yeah, why
4 consoles in.
why change it up?
They will support ray tracing, and it will be hardware based. So, like the new NVIDIA cards, Felix, this is a special.
The 20 series.
Yeah, the
Is
20.
all ray tracing.
This is
capable.
a very special lighting technology that really adds real-time reflections and real-time lighting. It makes Control on PC look like a freaking insane game. Mm-hmm. Like I don't even have it on my PC, and it looked gorgeous on my PC. But look at some of Andy in our Discord screenshot. I think Andy took some screenshots of it with his PC, if I'm not mistaken. I can't really remember.
I think he did. I don't know where they would even be at this
He
point.
has a
in what
2080
channel.
Ti.
Wait, you didn't get Control on your PC?
I did. I don't have a ray tracing card.
Oh, you don't have that.
I don't have a 2080 Ti, which is like a $900 card.
I have a 2080. I don't have the Ti.
But you can still use ray
It'll
tracing.
still look.
Yeah. You can still
Didn't
use
the Division 2 use ray tracing?
I can't confirm that.
Because I'm gonna look it up.
Go ahead. Look it
You
up.
do your thing.
I still got more
yeah,
on my details here. So this is a really cool thing. The new console will have a solid state drive. And they're talking about this being a special solid state drive to eliminate load times, Felix.
They showed a
Spider-Man
tech
demo.
demo.
Yeah.
Using Spider-Man,
Yeah.
where they were literally like flying the in-game camera through New York
As
City
fast as they could.
as fast as possible, and like I didn't see any pop in, any fog, any texture popping. It was all just
Can't wait to play that Skyrim.
spicy, dude.
Can't wait to play that Skyrim re-release on the PS5.
There was a meme that I saw of like Bethesda like it's time the PS5 with their Skyrim in there.
Remastered. Oh my god.
It's totally happening.
I'll fucking buy
So
it again.
my
dude.
only problem. So I'm gonna.
It loads so fast.
The problem with them using an
Oh,
SSD,
Christ.
and this is a weird way for me to start the sentence, because you need so much storage for these games now. It was just announced, Felix, the PC version of Red Dead Redemption 2, which was also announced this week, by the way, with RTX support, all the good graphics upgrades. It's going to be 150 gigabytes. Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare game coming out this holiday, is going to be like 120 gigs.
Wow.
So we're looking at really large sizes. This hard drive,
Thick sizes, dude.
this hard drive needs to be at least a terabyte or more, which is a lot for a solid state drive.
It's going to be expensive.
Prices have been coming down, but it's not cheap.
Did they drop a price?
No price yet. They're going to probably do it at the reveal, which I'm going to still guess is February. Just going to mark that here, February for that.
You got that Red Dead Life on the PC going?
I'm thinking about it.
I will absolutely do that.
Okay.
They are talking about a new controller, a kind of a revamped version of the PS4 controller, because they're keeping the touchpad because it's still believed that they will be cross-compatible with PS4 games. So you'll be able to take your games PS4
But they do
style.
realize how much I hate it.
But it'll do a little bit different things. It'll be a little bit heavier. It's going to have adaptive
I
triggers.
love a heavy controller.
Of course.
here.
It feels
Love it.
really good, yeah.
Remember when Locke brought in the
Elite.
Elite controller for Xbox?
That thing felt
when
great.
that came out, dude, that shit fucking felt
There's a.
so premium.
Did you ever see the?
You're right. Yeah, it felt real good.
They're selling in the world right now a PlayStation controller that's custom, that's like thick like the Xbox controller.
Probably.
Like the Duke,
It's
or
like
just
a,
like a
it's like a
regular, just
third
thicker.
person. It's like you have to look that up, Felix.
Yeah, third party. Yeah.
But this new controller is going to have adaptive triggers. So, like, and one example they were giving, Wired, was like in Gran Turismo, the racing game. If you were to go from concrete to like dirt, if you went off road, you would feel that in your acceleration. You would feel resistance
Oh, on the
on the
trigger.
triggers. Yeah.
That's actually
As you're
sick,
trying to
dude.
accelerate.
Yeah, that's very cool.
and it would have like a haptic feedback system where it would respond to what was happening a lot more precisely, kind of like your Rumble HD that Joy-Cons like to use. It's going to have a brand new set of speakers inside the controller because they already do have speakers in there.
They do. Just the one dead center that talks to you, which is kind of cool. They made really good use of that in what was that zombie game? Dying Light.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you could hear. Yeah, you could hear like, I don't know, or even the Division did it too. You heard like Agent Disavowed or like shit like that coming through your speaker.
The Infamous game on PS4.
Yeah.
The Infamous PS4 game had a really cool feature where you would spray paint with Delsin or whatever, and they wanted you to shake the controller, and you would hear like the ball in the can go, and then the controller itself, you would hold the trigger, and it would spray, and you would move it like this.
That's really cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's really funny how like every time a new console comes out, and they get all these features, and they only get used the most in like the first 2 years.
Yeah.
And then they're like, whatever,
dude.
Yeah.
It actually was a point of contention for a lot of players, but the PS3 controller has functionality that PS4 does not have in the pressure sensitivity of the buttons.
Yeah.
There's things you can do, for a great example, in Metal Gear Solid 4, in terms of like the pressure you're holding if you're just holding a knife to someone's neck or cutting their throat. And that all depends on how firmly you press the same button. And you can transition through pressure points in the same button. It didn't just stop at wherever you initially decided to press it. If you were holding it at a certain point, then you hard pressed, mid pressed, it would be able to recognize that.
Yeah.
That technology is literally not in the PS4 controller
at all. Yeah. A launch game, The Bouncer. Remember that Square Enix game?
Yeah.
That game was a fighting game, but you would have to hard press or light press to do certain different attacks. Anyway.
That's why they're still expensive to buy, those controllers right now for the PS3 ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Oh, I did want to tell you that on the PS Now, all the Metal Gear games, they're all there.
All of them.
Play them.
I mean, most of them.
Do it.
Like the HD re-release thing, and then
Don't look at me. I've played them.
You did Metal Gear March, baby.
Yeah,
Hashtag
there was
Metal Gear
one-
March.
there
Metal Gear March 2017, baby.
the Sons of Liberty.
2018. 2018.
So the HD remaster is missing a game though.
Metal Gear Solid 1.
Right. I think that's the only one that's not in there.
Yeah, because it was a PS1 game, or the Twin Snakes. Which
You get a
was
code
Silicon
for
Knights.
it from the collection.
In the box,
Yeah,
yeah.
in the box. In the box.
version, which
in the
I
box.
do have.
It's in the box, Dan.
I can give you my PS1 disc if you want.
I don't.
Yeah, I
What
can
to
play it.
put in what?
The PS3 does that.
And then you too can find out if love can bloom on the battlefield.
I'll just start with 2. That's the only one I played.
Why would you? Don't you dare?
It's like one of my
I'll
Japanese
just
animes.
We'll
I'll
solve-
read the story of 1 in a
Stop.
fucking
We'll-
wiki.
shut your mouth. We'll solve your problem.
Shut your mouth.
We'll figure it out, dude.
Shut your mouth.
You
be quiet.
More
motherfucker.
details on the controller. Better battery,
Oh, please,
for sure.
I mean, the battery is great on the PS4
It
right
will
now.
be
honestly.
heavier than the DualShock 4, but lighter than an Xbox One controller with batteries in it. Haptic feedback could be included on the PS4 Pro, but they decided to hold it off for the PS5. Yeah, they're going to redo the UI. Is what they're talking about, a completely new US, which they were talking about this feature.
A new UI for a new console. Who could
Surprise.
have fucking guessed, dude?
But they were talking about specifically, let's pretend you're playing, let's say, Call of Duty, and you're halfway through the campaign. You, from the menu, will pick the chapter or your save file, and it would just skip all of, like, the booting up process of the game, and they would just put you right in the chapter where you left off. That is a feature they're talking about. Like,
Are we talking from like power off cold boot?
from cold boot to menu to game, it would put you right in the spot
That
you left
that
off.
fucks.
It would skip all the, like logos and animations to get you there. They talked about, like you basically just like loading your save state.
Sheesh, dude.
They
I like that.
also, I don't remember, in the beginning of the PS4 generation, they talked about how you could pick and choose which part of the game you wanted to install first. Like Killzone did this when it launched. You could install the single player or just the multiplayer.
I was gonna say you could do like PvP first, something
Correct.
like that. Interesting, yeah.
So you could just jump right in with the game you wanted to do. They're gonna try and bring that back. It sounds like in some form as well. Trying to see what else we got here. They showed off pictures of the dev kit. I'm gonna open the one.
Which we were talking earlier about this.
It's like weird ass looking thing.
This dev kit looks like someone's rendering of what the actual console is gonna look like. Like, I don't understand why you put that much design work into a dev kit that should just be a black box full of parts.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's a random not here or there opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and that was like a leaked thing. That wasn't in the Wired article. They talk about using USB-C, and there's just they're just talking about all the new technologies that they're going to stick into it, and how Bluepoint, the developer, will have a PS5 game or a PS5 launch game. Essentially, Bluepoint are the guys who usually do these really great remasters. They did Shadow of the Colossus most recently, I want to say. Yeah. That is pretty much what we know right now, and it makes me wonder, like with Last of Us 2 coming out earlier in the year 2020 that it will be dropping, are they going to have like a PS5
version of it
patch or something for the game? Because that game is gonna. It's just weird. Like at the end of the PS4's life right now, we're watching like Death Stranding, and this Ghost of Tsushima is still supposed to be a PS4 game, and we don't have a release date for that either yet. It's just really weird.
Well,
this is just a weird cycle, and
with The Last of Us, they've said they want the game to be, at least viable from a playing perspective, from things like multiplayer that they're gonna roll out with at some point in the future. If you've only developed for PS4, your window of at some point in the future is very, very short.
Right, but hopefully it's as easy to program for this console as for the next one.
Yeah.
Because it's essentially the same architecture. It shouldn't be that much more challenging, and then they can. I don't know. They can get away from having these like two models that they currently have: the Pro and the standard model. This is why Felix, I've been telling you to hold off, because
I'm holding off.
Because like this next console, you just get this. Don't get the Pro now.
I'm not.
Definitely don't. Wait till next year, for sure.
I definitely am leaning back on the concept of replacing this computer.
Oh sure, that's understandable. What price do you guys think it's going to be?
What if they went like 600, like PS3 was originally?
That's out of my price range.
Remember that shit, dude?
Yeah. Oh, just get a second job. That's what they said. That was funny.
Is that what they really said?
Not on stage, but afterwards.
They didn't ask people if they had phones directly, but they kind of did.
They kind of did.
You guys have phones, right?
Which is kind of a pretty good transition.
Yeah.
See, dude,
either one of them. You have you can get a second job, or you have phones, are not acknowledging the digital divide whatsoever.
Yeah. Pretty much. Exactly.
It's a real fucking thing.
I think the console will probably be 500. I think it'll be 500.
I could see that, yeah.
Because $399 was the price of the PS4 at launch, which is a good price for a hefty console.
Yeah.
Like that. And then the Xbox One released with a $500 price tag with the Kinect at the time. 500 sounds right. That's just my prediction.
I could see it, yeah, for sure.
All right, let's
600 bonus version, an extra controller, controller and game bundle, 600.
Oh god damn you, GameStop! That's what GameStop did with the PS4, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They fucking instead of just wanting to sell you a PS4, they forced their consoles into bundles
of
like shitty controllers.
Because the consoles themselves were out of stock, if they ever were on sale at all that way, and then all the rest of the things were bundles.
It was a way. Honestly, as a person who worked the launch, of
they did the same with Switch too. That's just the thing they do.
Yeah, they do it because they want to get that add-on. They want those add-on numbers, and they want it's a way for them to like line their like, this is how we did during the PS4 launch kind of thing. Anyway,
it's just change your stat tracking if you're creating products to sell to fulfill your own stat tracking.
Well, you know what, they're dying now, so that's
right,
okay.
Right, good riddance. Fuck off, GameStop.
Good, fuck off. Are you ready for the big story, you guys?
Let's do it, dude.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of a biggie. And Felix, I don't know how much you've been following, but I'm gonna try and do a quick.
The problem
groundwork.
is half of the story is something that I like completely have disengaged from: politics.
Well, we're about to
politics.
semi-engage politics.
I know.
Are you guys?
I'm not. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm not well read on anything political that's happening in the world whatsoever.
So, let's start out with Hong Kong is currently in a state of unrest.
Yeah, it's interesting. I am familiar with the history of Hong Kong, though.
Perfect. This is going to be great. For the past, I want to say 6 or so months, they have been staging massive protests, trying to liberate themselves from pretty much the arms of communist China, which is pretty much where the issue is currently stemming from. Because this past week, I'm really glad we're recording today, a week away from this.
Yeah.
Because everyone's been like jumping on the bandwagon to talk about it.
It's good to have a couple days away.
We have
for
a
perspective.
full, clear picture because Friday night. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Earlier in the week, there was a Grandmaster Championship of the game Hearthstone.
You guys remember I was I was very big into Hearthstone, and then I decided to stop giving Blizzard money.
Blizzard card game,
Yeah.
Felix.
I know
Very
what
much
it
like
is.
okay, or for anyone listening who doesn't happen to know the story. Really great card game.
Dude, it's like, they always like yell at the grandparents. It's a card game you play on your phone. They don't have. Wait, there's no real cards. They play it on their phones. Hearthstone. I don't know why that's the accent, but that's what it is. That's what
good.
Neo just did to you.
Is that who I am?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah. You're the grandpa.
I'm the grandpa.
Who's trying to understand how there's no physical cards here.
What?
What?
What? How do you play
How
it?
do you play it? Where are they? Where are the cards?
Where's the cow blood? All right, moving on. It's good though. It's real good. All right, so this grandmaster who won this tournament, Blitzchung, we'll be referring to him as Blitzchung for the rest of the story here, has on his post-victory stream with these two casters.
Yeah, he's being like interviewed about the win.
Being interviewed
Yeah,
about his
essentially.
win, right? And essentially, at this point, what we know is the casters, at some point in the interview, said, okay, say the 8 words you're going to say, and then we'll never speak of it again. This is something that was spoken by the casters. They ducked under the table, and then Blitzchung, with his gas mask and goggles that the protesters are wearing,
Yeah.
hold up. He said, like, "Free Hong Kong, revolution of our age."
Okay, cool.
And then they cut the stream, and then that was the end of that stream.
Oh, because it got
essentially.
political.
Yeah, and not only that, they banned Blitzchung for a year, took away his prize money, and fired the casters.
Wow.
Essentially,
Blizzard did this, yeah. There
Blizzard
is
did
language in like the agreement, like the competitor agreement, that you can't do this kind of thing. You can't use their platform for
Section 6.1.
for whatever they deem inappropriate for the contest. Essentially,
Section 6.1 of
not saying that it's okay
of
or
the
fine for what they
Grandmaster
did.
competition rules is engaging in any act that Blizzard, in Blizzard's sole discretion, brings you into the public disrepute, offends a portion of a group or of the public, or otherwise damages Blizzard's image, will result in removal of grandmasters and reduction in the size of the player's prize to $0, in addition to other remedies that may be provided for the blah blah blah.
So the portion of the public that might have been offended by what he says is China, which is a gigantic market for Blizzard,
Yeah.
and hence
Although
that's
I
the problem.
believe
Yeah.
it is
money,
about
money was talking.
12%. As far as I've seen through all the numbers that are being thrown around the internet, right? But overall, the controversy is coming from the idea that Blizzard is silencing and kowtowing to please China as a market and ignoring the plight. This is where it gets political. They're essentially ignoring the plight of the people who are currently going through almost a humanitarian issue at this point. And this had been boiling over for like this whole week, has been surrounding around Blizzard. What are they going to say about it? They pretty much haven't done anything.
These protests have affected so many other areas of the world too that interact with China for whatever purpose. Like almost around the same day, I forget exactly like what day this happened versus the other event I'm going to talk about. But the coach of the Raptors, the NBA team, the Raptors, tweeted out in support of Hong Kong. And China freaked out, dude.
Yeah.
The NBA is
happened too,
massive
yeah.
in China.
Well, fucking the South Park guys did it. They jumped up China's ass. They fucking jumped all over China.
Yeah.
They were like, "Fuck China" in their episode.
Yeah, I apologize. The Rockets, not the Raptors. And according to my roommate, who is much more a sports and NBA fan than I am, he put it into some perspective. Apparently, if China were to not support the NBA, if they just pulled all their shit out, the NBA might fold because of how much money China injects into the NBA for contracts, for salaries, for all that stuff.
It's a global economy we're dealing with.
What's so fascinating about how all these American companies and organizations rely so much on the Chinese market, and to me, that's where a lot of the issue comes from, because essentially, American companies are at the whim of their Chinese market, and we as a American people have very different fundamental views than China when it comes to free speech, when it comes to how the government and the relationship between the government and its people is fundamentally different in every way. And a lot of this boycott Blizzard stuff and boycott NBA and whatever, like whatever is happening with the NBA, I haven't been following that, unfortunately. It's coming down to how we hold our own companies accountable when it comes to kowtowing to a pretty much an authoritarian regime.
Yeah, 100% there.
I had a discussion with someone about like, well, where was everyone caring about China 6 months ago when the protests started? I was like, well, they're going through their own pains right now. As Americans, we can observe and watch what's happening. I hope the best.
How are comments like that even helpful?
It's not helpful, and honestly, it really did bother me.
What, are you trying to make someone feel bad about the fact that they learned about something?
Oh, we're jumping on the bandwagon now.
Like, are you outwoking me? Like, what's the dick measuring contest about that? I never got that shit, dude.
And he was pretty much pointing out like how because it revolves around games now, gamers are caring. But to
God
be
forbid
fair,
someone cares about a thing and
the NBA
expresses it.
is currently experiencing this as well.
Sure,
but with
I mean,
Blizzard,
as much as I hate to call attention to this because I'm a huge fan of Apple.
Yeah.
I mean, they removed an app from their store in Hong Kong.
I saw that
protesters are using to organize. And in an internal letter, Tim Cook said to employees that they have had reports from Hong Kong police that it's being used in a way to target people specifically. So they did it for safety reasons. But the market for Apple in China,
huge,
and the pipeline, the prototyping, the parts, the labor, the construction of the phones is all China.
Apple relies on the ability to construct devices.
It's not at all a crazy like thought to think that someone from China said, "Yo, guys, I'm gonna need you to take
Cut
this
that
off,
out.
dude."
Yeah.
And like,
or
how
else.
could they say no? Because that's your entire production line.
Yeah.
It's fucked, dude.
It's real crazy.
Yeah.
And that is where I think most of the controversy is coming from, right?
Bless you.
Bless you.
I don't know what got up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little China up there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to relate it to the.
I
Anyway,
mean, China's population now, probably if you calculate it, is like the equivalent of what Russia's population was when World War I broke out.
okay.
Like in terms of its size. And just to frame that, Russia could just dispose of men during World War I.
No
they
one
could
would
just
know.
send people endlessly to the battlefield, and they barely put a dent in their population. And that's where China is at this point. Not speaking in terms of like war or conflict breaking out or something like that, but speaking in terms of like how much money the size of the population provides for
All these
the
companies.
entire planet, the gross national product of the entire planet.
Oh, you know what's really funny? A week before this event happened, South Park dropped an episode.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Banned in China. You did?
Yeah,
He did, yeah.
I missed it.
they literally said
When we-
fuck
when we-
China or something like
We
that
did
on
the
the episode.
NBA transition real quick.
Oh,
He was like, "Oh yeah,
shit, I
yeah,
missed that.
yeah." He said, "I saw South
Yeah,
Park."
and they released it on VHS and like are sending it out to China as many.
They're trying to get it to their
They
Chinese fans.
They wrote a letter to China too. They had an
something
open
like
letter.
that. Yeah. And
I know this is
it's
probably
it's a good episode.
slightly off topic. And my
because
computer's probably
the
gonna
episode
die,
is
but-
actually about. Have you seen this episode?
I didn't watch it. No.
The episode's about how the movie industry / music industry designs or creatively bankrupts themselves in favor of the Chinese market. Like your Transformers movies, any product placements.
Oh, I see. Creatively
changes the writing.
Bankrupts their souls.
This brings me back to Blizzard because Blizzard with World of Warcraft has a very different version of World of Warcraft in China than it does in America. They remove all images of like skulls, death, and any other kind of blood or anything in their games for in the Chinese version of, let's say, World of Warcraft because of the rules of their government. Some other of the fallout this week, Blizzard internally was your computer just died.
It's fine.
Internally, Blizzard employees are showing protests. They covered a sign on their outside marquee that shows the message "Think globally and every voice matters."
Yeah, people are covering up with like printer paper.
And I'm trying to see what else here. And values that say lead responsibly. Now, this all leads us up to Friday night, which is probably where we're going to hear the end of it for now, because that night Blizzard released their statement. It's a very long statement.
You're not going to read it all, are
I'm
you?
not going to read it all.
Okay, good.
But it essentially comes down to They didn't really apologize. They didn't really. They said they were behaving as they wanted to make clear that they weren't doing this because of China, and they
were doing it because of their investors,
for sure.
Who are Chinese?
Who are Chinese?
Well, and
who
me.
are Chinese?
And me.
But it's not because of China.
I'm one of them.
They pretty much said we hired the shoutcasters to amplify the excitement and elevate the watchability of it, but them pulling the focus away from that was a violation of that thing that they wanted the shoutcasters to do. They reduced the sentencing of Blitzchung to 6 months, gave back his prize money,
Oh, that's nice.
and they just suspended the
it's
casters
standard
for 6 months.
kindness.
As well. I believe they're going to be blacklisted until then or whatever. So it doesn't really acknowledge in total how much. It didn't really address the idea that they censored this voice of activism, right? And in an American university this week as well, there was a Hearthstone tournament, and somebody held up a sign that said like "Free Hong Kong," and they were not banned or anything like that. The repercussions were very different for this American university competitor.
Where did the competitor that got banned originally? Where
China, I believe.
they were in China or they were in Hong Kong? Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sure they're not going to do it. I mean,
It seems like the players in the
I don't know.
university dropped out of that competition. Oh, because of the double standard. Makes sense. There was one other piece of the story. Blitzchung did make a statement after. Here, I'm just going to find it real quick.
Yeah, find it.
Statement after the Blizzard statement. Oh, I already had it up. That's funny. And he wrote. Where is it? I don't want to read your. He wrote. Here we go. On Twitter. Here we go.
Or right to
Opening
the
it up.
source.
Right to the source. About the suspension, Blizzard has changed their suspension for me to 6 months. Once again, I will appreciate for the but to be honest, I think 6 months is still quite a lot. But also being told that I can't continue to compete in the Hearthstone Pro Circuit, which they mean the Grandmaster tournament. Okay. However, I wish Blizzard can reconsider their penalty about the two casters involved. Okay, so he knew what repercussions he was going to be facing, but he still does not agree with their decision.
Sure.
It's about people from Blizzard had to explain me through a phone call, and I really appreciate. Okay. He has no idea if he wants to continue Hearthstone, and he won't be on the next season. Okay, so he's just pretty much just giving him an update. He's just using the time to relax. Sorry, this is the first time I've read this.
Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't read.
He sounds
He knew what he was doing.
yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? He sounds intelligent, first of all, and he sounds like
He's very much at peace with what
yeah,
the decision
like
and the
like
outcome.
he knew what was going to
Yeah.
happen. He's like, this is the way it was, and I said what I said with conviction, and I don't regret it. And this is, of course, where we are.
Yeah. And the way the story ends is in about 3 weeks' time, BlizzCon is happening.
Yikes, dude.
And people are already planning massive protests
At BlizzCon?
at BlizzCon.
I hope.
Last year,
I hope, dude.
the year anniversary
They're regretting that. They're regretting that
of the
decision,
"Do
then, aren't
you
they?
have phones" controversy.
Oh my
which
god, dude. We remember how we fucking,
Wait, do you have phones? Was them?
last
Oh
year.
yeah, because
remember we
Diablo.
fucking lost our shit and stirred ourselves into the biggest gamer tizzy about the phone shit, and now it's like
Well,
the stuff this year
the
is
tizzy
so.
of the phone stuff was about them making a mobile version of
Oh, I remember. I
Diablo
totally remember. Yeah, I know exactly.
for the Chinese market because they play mobile games and like I'm not just trying to
yeah.
you look at
It just-
a marketing standpoint.
Yeah,
right?
I'm more commenting on just the level of controversy has been so
This is a real
inflated
problem.
this year.
I think this
Yeah.
is definitely this involves like human lives
sure. Of course it does.
or an American company trying to find value over their morals or their pockets, almost right.
Which they won't. I mean, that's going to be
Clearly
they're not
not.
going to make that decision. It's going to be money. Do you guys want to hear the South Park letter?
Do it.
Oh yeah,
China?
yeah, yeah.
Do it.
Official apology to China from Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Like the NBA, we welcome the Chinese censors into our homes and into our hearts. We too love money more than freedom and democracy. She doesn't look like Winnie the Pooh at all. Tune into our 300th episode this Wednesday at 10. Long live the great Communist Party of China. May this autumn's sorghum harvest be bountiful. We good now, China?
That was a good episode of South Park.
I gotta check it out. I haven't watched it.
It's called Banned in China.
Yeah.
Free. They made it free, available to everybody.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hong Kong has such a like a long-running being occupied history. Like the crazy thing is, the day Pearl Harbor was attacked,
Yeah.
the Imperial Japanese Army invaded and occupied Hong Kong all throughout World War II. It wasn't until 1945 that the British regained control.
Yeah.
At the time, but they've been pretty much, that peninsula has been pretty much occupied by the British for whatever amount of time. So there's this giant cultural divide between this very small, very heavily packed city and the rest of mainland China. Like
see why they're so fed up.
Everybody there speaks English.
Yeah.
Everybody on that island for the most part. It's crazy.
That's so crazy.
It would be like, Manhattan Island, right? Being completely non-English speaking, and like people there speaking German,
But they're like a part of us.
or it would be Dutch, like New Amsterdam.
Would
right?
you?
Because that was originally a Dutch.
Could you compare it to
island.
Puerto Rico? Not like size wise, but like
No, because
the way we
no.
run,
My comparison
the way
was
America has Puerto Rico.
No, my comparison was to take a large peninsula, essentially. Manhattan Island is a peninsula.
Yeah.
So imagine the Dutch originally founded that, never relinquished it to English-speaking people, and it stayed Dutch till now,
God, I hate the Dutch.
right?
No, I'm kidding.
And everyone there spoke that language instead of
The native language.
English. And, and those people wanted freedom from the English-speaking people around them.
That is what they're currently experiencing.
Well, yeah, it's a little different, but like almost the same.
Have you seen like
analogies.
shots of the protests?
I have.
I've been pretty much keeping up with it as much as I can. There's a lot of the pictures that come out are crazy, like the way they have mobilized so many people to those streets, and that the military is like literally trying to keep it contained in its various ways. It's just out of control. It's crazy.
It's the power of China, dude. And they.
Well, I have distinct memories from my childhood of seeing the Tiananmen.
Tiananmen.
Yeah,
Tiananmen
I
Square,
struggle with that word. Squared protests when I was a kid, watching that on TV. Because it was right at the beginning of the 24-hour news cycle.
Fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Well, any more thoughts on the Blizzard thing, guys?
Oh no.
There have been hilarious
Memes.
Bungie leaving Activision Blizzard memes.
Yeah, like they got out. Yeah.
There's the meme picture of the girl, like the little girl looking back towards the camera while there's like a car accident on fire in the background out of focus. And there's also a meme of Captain Jack Sparrow from the very first movie where he takes the step off of like the crow's nest of his ship as the ship is sinking, and he steps right onto the dock.
As Bungie.
He's Bungie, and then the ship is Activision Blizzard going under the water. He just goes right onto the dock.
Right on the dock. Yeah, that's great. Protesters took over. Speaking of memes, protesters took over Mei, the character from Overwatch.
Oh.
She is a Chinese character.
Yeah.
And they co-opted her to use her as a free Hong Kong figure. So they're making her the mascot of the Free Hong Kong movement.
Oh wow.
So like people are like, yeah, like they're making posters that say Free Hong Kong, and they're putting her in gas masks and saying, yeah, liberating our fan art too. Like,
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
the covering of the eye, she's covering her eye in this photo for audio listeners. Someone during the protests got shot in the eye, essentially lost their eye during a protest, and that was a reported on thing. So yeah, they're doing it, man. They're freaking doing it, and I'm fully behind it. I mean,
it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Not even from a gaming perspective, but
we're
just like
definitely
from
I have a feeling we're gonna see some crazy news at BlizzCon.
Well, yes, for that. But I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this actually plays out. The actual events, the actual protests in Hong Kong.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's not something that we'll probably be we're talking about in the futures, unless Blizzard is still involved in this or any other game companies involved. Because, oh god, there's so much to this story. I'm so sorry. 40% of Tencent is a massive company in China.
Yep.
Massive company. They own 40% of Epic Games. They own pretty much 100% of Riot Games, the makers of League of Legends.
They actually did. Bungie has Tencent money too.
They do
for some unknown project.
Tencent money. Tencent for a you just said it. Never mind. I was about to just repeat what you just said. Tim Sweeney, the head of Epic, came out and said, "We don't let China dictate what our company says. So anyone can say whatever they want to say, and they will not be, they won't be punished for speaking out." It is nuts though. All these game companies are pretty much Tencent has a hand in all these companies.
And all of them, dude.
Yeah, man. Last thing you want to talk about real quick, because it's not quite a news story yet, but it is kind of a news story.
Oh yeah, it's something about
Fortnite's doing something really weird.
Fortnite, yeah.
So it seems like Fortnite, it's currently trending as we speak. Apparently, Fortnite is ending, and they're advertising a Chapter 2. And apparently, Epic is going so hard into this that they actually, I think they released this, like, these numbers for a 15. Oh, wait. Oh, that's the lost
That's
numbers.
a joke. That's the lost numbers.
They're showing numbers. I'm just sorry, guys. This
You're
is
looking
breaking.
at all the memes right now.
I'm looking at the memes. So apparently.
So they're the vibe of this is they're literally splitting everything that came before. They're considering that Chapter 1 of Fortnite, and then we're about to start Chapter 2. Is that correct?
Something like that. And it seems like they're actually going as far as like shutting off the game.
Well, I was talking to some people on our Discord earlier and mentioned that like this must suck for people that broadcast and stream this game because they literally can't make content today.
They're just talking about it.
But they were saying that they just have people watching for something to happen, so the streams are just popping number-wise anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Ninja said today this is yesterday. After watching Liquid Chap's Rewind videos, I'm more content than ever that Fortnite Chapter 2 will be the most successful if there are a lot of changes. We all need to experience learning new Fortnite mechanics again, and new weapons, and of course, a new map. He is excited. They deleted this. They deleted this tweet.
Rip.
So something's happening. And
it's literally ongoing right now. We don't know what the end of this is. It's what, 5-6 hours at this point it's been going on for?
We don't know what's going to happen, but this is breaking as we're doing the show right now. So we'll see. Yeah. That's ongoing. Biggest game's doing something weird.
Yeah, stay tuned to our Twitter feeds, our Discord to continue this conversation for sure. And
if you want to continue discussing this, join our Discord and follow us on Twitter.
Boom.
Neo_Ayoshi. You can follow me at Twitch.
Yeah, go ahead, do it.
Is that cool? Should I end it now?
Yeah, take it out.
I think we've been smoothly transitioning this entire night.
I know, man. What a well-oiled machine, you guys.
Take it out. I stumbled a little bit, but
no, you're great, man. You're the best.
Thanks, man.
You and that hat.
Yeah.
Follow me at twitch.tv/NeoAyoshi and Twitter at Neo_Yoshi. Follow the podcast at Emergent_Gamer. Did I get that right? I'm sorry.
Emergent_Gamer on Twitch and Mixer.
Twitch and Mixer as well.
I want
to listen to us live. Subscribe to us on the OG Podcast Network.
You want.
If you want to get us there, we're on Spotify, iTunes, the Androids. We're on
wherever you listen.
Anywhere you get podcast services.
What? No, because we're on Spotify and iTunes. We're not on Stitcher. There are things.
Anywhere regular people listen.
Yes, regular people.
Sorry, there's definitely Stitcher.
Official
people
stance of the podcast.
I love you, Stitcher people. That's not the official stance of the podcast.
Yeah.
Why are we on Stitcher?
I don't know how to get it there.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Easy clap. I'm Trip Zero. You guys can find me on all my socials. Trip Zero TV. All together, no spaces, underscores, nothing. Trip Zero TV. On Twitch, Mixer. Mixer is my home. Please follow me there. And I'm very active on Twitter as well. That's where you're going to see a lot of hot takes, a lot of Destiny stuff, a lot of memes, a lot of communication, that kind of stuff. And like Neo said, please hang out with us in our Discord. You can find a link to it pretty much on any of our socials. If you're in any of our streams,
also,
you will see
review us on iTunes and stuff? That would be really cool, too.
Do iTunes reviews. They're never not great.
Fireside.fm.
Never not great.
Emergent
Review
Gamer.
us.
What's the website?
Even tell us that we suck.
EmergentGamerPodcast.fireside.fm.
Thank you.
Until we get our domain updated.
But in terms of content from my side, you will be seeing a lot of Destiny. I can promise you that. But I am going to take some short breaks for some games I'm excited about. I don't know if I will be streaming Pokemon, but I'll be playing it.
Oh my God!
Will absolutely be playing.
Oh
my God! I will absolutely be playing Death Stranding when it comes out because I'm very excited for that experience as well.
I plan on doing a 24-hour stream.
Yeah. Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, I'm taking off work.
Okay.
Good
to know.
I'm gonna play it.
Good to know.
As long as I can humanly walk.
But yeah, Death Stranding, Pokemon, very exciting fall, and then Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy VII in the spring. That's about it for Trip besides Destiny. So if you like Destiny, or if you don't know about Destiny but think you may like it, or even if you hate it, come watch. All right, guys.
Hate watch
it. Hate watch it.
And this is Felix Hergood. You can catch me, Felix Hergood, on Twitter.
What are you doing with your hands, dude?
I don't know. Felix Hergood. I'm just making this shit up as I go.
Okay.
Felix Hergood on Mixer, on Twitch. I do a Mitch chat, little Mixer and Twitch together at the exact same time. I'm going to be playing a lot of games. Outer Worlds when that comes out. Death Stranding when that comes out. I don't know what games I'm going to. I don't know what games I'm going to be able to dedicate time to, but I'm going to at least play a stream of them to see what they're like.
You will be
gaming. But I did request off 3 days for Last of Us 2.
Sick.
Oh
So
my God.
I will be playing that in full over a 3-day period when that comes out in what was it, February?
April.
No. Is it April?
Last of Us 2 is in.
Did they change the date already?
No, well, the date
I thought it was February.
February
you're
21st.
right, February 21st.
Yeah, now if that date
My bad.
changes, then that 3-day thing isn't happening because I already requested off. So that's it. Yeah, I'm done.
Cool. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging. We will see you next week.